Part 2 of me pranking my boyfriend since he cut off my eyelashes. But before I go into part 2, I just want to address some of the comments. The ones that said I took it too far, or that my eyelashes mean more to me than my relationship. Honey, it's a prank. If you can't take a joke, move on to the next video. Bye. Okay, now let's go into the video. So I ended it with me saying, "What's wrong?"
Not okay at all. What the fuck?
We're just hanging out.
No.
Why? We're friends.
Hell no.
Are you mad?
You don't just leave and hang out with a guy by yourself. Hell no. Yeah, I'm mad.
OMG, whatever.
That's weird as fuck. You don't just do that.
I'm just hanging out at his house. What's wrong with that? It's not like anything is happening.
Bye.
Whatever. Then after I sent that, I started to feel super bad. And I was like, oh my god, he's probably super mad. So I go upstairs to find him talking to our roommate, Isaac, talking about what's going on. I pop up in the room and I'm like, it was a prank! Then we all started to laugh. And he said I played too much, but he deserved it. I'm about to tell you guys this really messed up story time, so get ready. So a couple years back, me and this guy I used to date broke up, obviously. And instead of being salty about the breakup, we just decided to be friends. Because we're adults, kind of, and we're mature, so I thought. Anyways, one day I decided to go see my dad. And while I was planning to see my dad, one of my friends was throwing a party that weekend. This friend lived 15 minutes away from my father. And my dad lives 2 hours away from me, which means this friend lived 2 hours away. So I thought, why not see my dad and go to this party? Side note, my ex was also friends with my friend that was throwing the party. So me and my ex had this brilliant idea of riding together at this party. Very bad idea, Kenzie. Why? Why? So we end up riding together to this party. And the plan was for both of us to just stay the night at the party. Because obviously at college parties, you're going to be drinking, and we don't drink and drive. Instead, something very messed up happened to me. Like this for the rest of the tea. Part 2 of the tea. So me and my ex drove 2 hours to get to this party. And when we got to that friend's house, we were supposed to spend the night at her house. Well, that didn't happen for me. So we were at the party or whatever, trying to turn up and have a good time. You know how it is. But low-key, I had like a bad vibe. Like ever since I got to the party, I was just getting a really bad vibe from all my friends that were there. Like they didn't want me there or something. But I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm not going to let this ruin my night. And besides the few friends that I had there that I knew one other guy there, so I just kind of talked to him the whole night because I didn't have anyone else. And we weren't flirting or anything. We were just having regular conversation. Well, my ex sees this and he gets upset, even though we're not together. So he made a scene and he just left the party and no one knew where he went. And we're all like freaking out, like, where the hell did he go? So one of our friends goes to get him. And I was going to, but then I thought to myself, that's not your problem anymore, Mackenzie. Then my friend does something really messed up. Like for part 3. My little sister and I almost drowned in the Russian River. Story time. By the way, my best friend Mia was also with us. Rest in peace, Angel. So throwback to when me and my friend were 15, which means my little sister was 7 at the time. My parents decided to go kayaking. And I was bored as hell at home, so I was like, I'm going with you. And I invited my friend. And then my little sister came along too. So we all went down to kayak at the Russian River. But when we got there, me, my friend, and my little sister didn't want to go kayaking. So instead, we used a blow-up life raft and floated along the river. My parents were kayaking in front of us. We were behind them. We were just chilling until the current got stronger. So we started moving fast down this river, okay? And keep in mind, we didn't bring a paddle with us. All we had was these long sticks that we used to paddle. By the time the water got super rough, my parents were nowhere in sight. They probably assumed we went back. Anyways, we're moving fast down this river. Like, we can't control the raft. And we're getting close to this tree that's halfway in the river. You don't want to miss part 2. It gets crazy. Part 2 of me almost drowning in the Russian River. Story time. So me and my little sister and my friend were moving supersonic speed down this river. Like when I tell you guys these currents were strong, these currents are stronger than McGregor throwing a right hook. And we were moving right into this tree that was halfway into the river. And there was no way we could move because our dumbasses didn't bring paddles. So right before we hit this tree, somehow our raft turned sideways. So the raft was on its side when it hit the tree. And y'all remember how I said the currents were strong? The currents flipped over the boat and dunked us in the water. Y'all do not understand how hard it was not to die. Swimming against a strong-ass current, that shit was hard. Anyways, I was the first one to pop up out of the water. And I'm holding on to this little twig, trying not to drown. And I instantly start looking for my friend and my little sister. I look over and I see that my friend is also holding on this branch for dear life. But then I start freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, where's my sister? And I could not see her. So after like a minute, all of a sudden I see this hand going down the river. I'm so sorry, but I'm making part 3 right now. How we almost drowned in the Russian River. Story time. So the raft flipped over and we flopped into the water. The strong-ass current tried to drown us, but me and my friend were able to latch onto these branches. Although she was holding onto a small twig, at least she was above the water and not dying. But I was still like, where's my sister? Like, I literally thought I lost my sister. I'm not kidding you guys. Like, even though she pisses me off all the time, I love that little bitch to death. And I was so worried for her. So I'm looking around and I see her hand floating down the river. I thought this bitch was donezo. And so my tired self got off of the branch and I started swimming towards her. I was literally fighting to stay on top of the water, but I got close enough to her where I could grab her and I lifted her up. I was literally drowning myself so she could breathe. I don't know how I was able to do this, but I was able to pass her off to my friend. My little sister started freaking out when she got to my friend. My sister almost made him drown again because she was freaking out, moving everywhere. Almost made my friend let go of the branch. God was definitely with us because we were able to make it to shore. Shit was hard, but we...
Part 1 of how my best friend passed away. So like I told you guys, at the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, she was diagnosed with cancer. The day that she told me and our other best friend, Madison, we were obviously shocked, we were sad, but we wanted to be those supportive friends that Mia needed. So we didn't treat her any different. We still went on adventures, we still joked around with each other, we still spilled tea. Our friendship never died down, it never changed. We prayed for her, and we just knew that she was going to beat this cancer. And she did. After a year, I believe, she finally beat it. And I remember being so excited. I was like, yes, like I knew it. Me and Madison were literally just, we were so relieved, we were so happy. But a week after, she was supposed to continue getting radiation, but the doctor never called her mom, so her mom obviously called the doctor. And I guess they wouldn't take her insurance for the radiation. And I remember her going back and forth with the doctors for about a month before she was finally able to get the treatment she needed. And then something really bad happened, making part 2 of how my best friend passed away. So she was supposed to get radiation, but the doctor told her mom that they wouldn't accept her insurance. So after her mom calling the doctors back and forth for, a different resolution, a month later they were finally able to find a different kind of treatment for my friend. But it was a little bit too late for that, because within that month she ended up developing tumors where she had her first surgery when she beat cancer. The day she found out she had the tumors, she went to the hospital, obviously. She had these really, really, really bad stomach pains. She told me that they felt so bad that she didn't even want to walk. Like, all she did was lay in bed. So her mom ended up driving her to the hospital in San Francisco, which is when she found out she had those tumors. And they couldn't perform any surgery on her because of where it was. So Mia ended up going back on chemo. And for a while, it was working. The tumors were getting smaller, and she definitely didn't act like she was sick at all. If you looked at this girl, you wouldn't believe that she had cancer. But then she took a turn for the worse. Part 3 of how my best friend passed away. So yeah, she went back on chemo. She was doing super good. Me and Madison were still trying to hang out with her as much as we could while balancing, college and work and all that fun stuff. Then I remember the last good day. Mia, me, and my other friend Taylor were all hanging out. I remember I braided her hair because she would always have me braid her hair. And it just seemed like a normal day. Like, there was nothing special about that day. It was just the last day I was able to see her healthy. A couple days after that, me and my other friend Taylor ended up going to Hawaii together. We were planning this trip for months. So, I had a great time with Taylor in Hawaii. And I remember the last day I was in Hawaii, I got a call from Mia's mom. And she told me that she was in the ICU and that she didn't think she was going to make it. And I told Mia's mom, I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow. Just please keep me updated. So I got on the plane and I was on my way back to California, making part 4 right now.